Hey, Jimbo, are you ready for this deal?
Live action, Cody.
Old stories like long lost friends, rodeos and late night bends, history before our time, round pens and pasture rides, cowboys of the Osage.
Howdy, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Cowboys of the Osage podcast, brought to you by the Ben Johnson Cowboy Museum and the Buck and Flamingos Turquoise Shop, both located in historic downtown Pawhuska, Oklahoma. Hey, don't forget about our good buddy, old Shorty at Shorty's Cowboy Hattery. She makes a heck of a hat. Tell her me and Jimbo said to call. She's down in the Oklahoma City stockyards. Everything's handmade. She'll make them from, 10X to 1,000X. I don't know.
Go eat a big steak and buy you a hat.
Yeah, go eat a big steak, buy a hat. But make sure you get back over here to Pawhuska. That's where the real stuff is. Museum, turquoise. Jimbo's here. I'm here. Hey, everyone, it's old Cody here. And as always, I have my main man with me, Mr. Rodeo historian himself, Jimbo Snively. Morning, Jimbo. What do we got going on today?
Hey, Cody, boy, it's another great day in Osage, man. And Cody, we got one of the top calf ropers of his time. Tom Walker, he was a 7 times IPRA World Champion calf roper. He made the NFR several times, won second at the NFR once. Left-handed, one of the best left-handers ever.
We were talking about left-handers yesterday.
I know it.
That guy didn't even mention Tom Walker.
Yeah.
What the heck?
I don't know. What was he thinking?
I don't know.
But because he's part of the best.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was, like I say, a great roper, and we're just lucky to have him here with us today. He drove up from down by Stroud, and we're going to cut up a podcast with him. So, Tom, welcome to the Cowboys of the Osage podcast.
Well, thanks for having me. It's a privilege to be here today.
Well, it's our privilege to have you. But where'd you grow up at, Tom?
I grew up I went to school at Moore, kind of between Moore and Norman.
That's Tornado Alley.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
But, me and my brother, Wayne, our dad, he roped, and that's all we've ever been around. We could get on a horse. We started roping.
Yeah.
And
What'd your dad do in the roping?
He roped calves, and then he team roped too.
Okay.
Yeah, and he gave me and my brother every opportunity to take it. If we wanted to do it, if we wanted, and my brother started. He's 13 months younger than me. He rode bulls for a long time too, and he was rodeoing before I was. Where he was riding bulls, but he roped and team roped. But our dad, he'd turn a lot of calves out, but he'd keep 25 calves there. And when I started really trying to work at it, I would rope 50 calves a day off a horse. And I'd bring them calves back, and I'd tie each one of them twice. And, I wanted it bad. Mm-hmm. And now my brother, he was just kind of a natural in the calf roping.
There's always a set of brothers like this.
He'd team rope with you all day, but he could really, he roped calves good. In fact, I had an annual roping, and my dad and Buddy Crump and our dad, we had an annual roping for 13 years, and give away a trailer in the open, and I give away a saddle in the 40 and over. And then years later, I made it all 40 and over. I had I give a trailer in the 40, and the 50, 60, and 68, we give away a John Rule National saddle. And we had it all sponsored. People wanted to be involved with our roping, and we had the last year that we had it. I had 187 ropers that was over 40 years old at it. Now, this is before they started the number and calf roping. You know, then we couldn't have it because the numbers, you know, some guys could be 50 and could be an open rope almost, you know. And but we really, and Wayne, my brother, he tied the fastest calf ever tied. There, we tried to have it at the house a lot of years, but the weather, we were set up to go in a building, and but he tied the fastest calf that was ever tied, and 7'2", and he was, I think he's 40 or 41, and we roped the same calves than the 40 and over that what they roped in the open the day before, and but we really enjoyed putting that on. Had a great time with all the old. I mean, we had Bobby Seals, you know, one of the great ropers way back, and everybody. I mean, Roy, Fred, everybody come to it. I mean, but we in the open roping, and then the 40 and over and stuff. But we had people from all over the United States, from California. Everybody kind of made their vacation out of it. But,
how come you didn't take up bull riding?
Oh, it only took one. My brother talked me on getting at a high school rodeo, and when we were young, I'd get on the steers and the cows, but when it come time for the bulls, I said, no, that's it. Well, he talked me into getting on one, entering, and I done good in the ribbon roping and the calf roping at a high school deal, but you had to get on bull. You had to place on both ends of the arena. And I mean, I drew one that, well, actually, nobody had ever rode him. He was ranked. And actually, I was so scared. I got on him, and he when he bucked me off, he stomped on me and he hooked me, and I looked like I was trying to swim. My legs wouldn't move. I was trying to get to the fence. But George Paul won that. They used to have that big bull riding at Ardmore, that 100 entries in the bull riding. The next year, George Paul was the first guy to ever ride him and win the bull riding. But it brought that was the end of my bull riding.
Well, who brought him to a high school rodeo?
Oh yeah,
Doesn't sound like he
well,
needed to
he
be at the high
shouldn't.
school.
Yeah,
Sounds like Tom goes on the same motto I do. Once they get too big to rope, we eat them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
For sure.
There's, you know what? There always seems to be a set of every family almost that you know in the rodeo business. There's a set of brothers, and seem like one of them always works like hell and sweats and works really hard at their event, and the other one don't work near as hard and has just more natural ability than the one that works so hard.
Yeah,
I don't know how many sets of brothers I've seen that way.
Yeah, he loves that team roping. I mean, he's done very well. But he also has done well in the calf roping. But we've rodeoed together all our life. It was fun, you know, kind of a family.
Who did you look up to back here when you was a kid, as far as ropers go?
Oh, you know, our dad, we look back and seen how much he knew about roping. When we first started out, people didn't reach. You know, you run up on your calf and set that stuff up. Mm-hmm. When we first started, he said, when you get there, you throw it. I don't want you tracking him down the arena. And I don't know how he seen it, but it turned out where, you know, later on you had to take them throws, you know. Mm-hmm. But then as far as I've got to rodeo with, I rodeoed with Terry Davidson. He made the national finals back there, and we rodeoed for years together. And but like I was telling you earlier, Junior Garrison and Ronnie Seawalt, I picked up a lot of.
Ronnie was left-handed,
yes,
like you.
So. And he tied right-handed like me. Mm-hmm. You know, Bob Ragsdale, he tied right-handed, and the other ones, most of them tied left-handed. Mm-hmm. But Junior and Ronnie Seawalt were really tough on the ground, and I'd want to pick stuff up from different ropers. Mm-hmm. You know, I thought, you know, I'd like to try that way, you know, but there's so many guys out there that roped really well. That I just had a lot of respect for a lot of the old timers. It was a privilege for me to get to visit or be around them great ropers from a long time ago. But like rodeo with Roy Cooper, we were we're just like brothers. And as far as I'm concerned, he's the best there ever was. There's a lot of guys that's great. I mean,
sure.
But I've seen him do stuff that was amazing.
Did you ever try to switch hands, rope right-handed?
No, sir. I didn't.
Did you ever think about it or not?
No, I never did.
Yeah.
Now, if I would have, the only thing I would have probably done, knowing now, is like the heeling. I still heel left-handed. But if I think I should have tried to, and I could rope right-handed. But I never, my dad, he didn't mind me roping left-handed, but he said, you're not going to tie a calf left-handed. You're going to tie right-handed. And I'm sure glad he did.
Was that hard to learn?
No, it wasn't. When you first start out, I never had tied, I was just starting. And, it wasn't, it wasn't no trouble. I never even thought about it. I can go through the fundamentals. I had a lot of roping skills, and I would tell left-handers, hey, you tie the way you think you want to, but I would kind of want to encourage them to tie right-handed. But
the calves just lay better.
Oh yeah,
take it better.
So many. Butch Bodie was he was probably the best. And James Ant, they both were really, really good left-handed. They tied calves left-handed. Butch Bodie had a big old leg on him. Looked like they wasn't even doing nothing with him when they were trying to kick him, But
he just make them take it, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did. And James Ant was really fast.
It makes sense to tie them right-handed when most of the time they get tied right-handed. If you throw them down on that opposite side, that seems like a higher chance to kick. I don't know.
People say, well, you did it the old way. I roped and ducked under the rope. I could get off the right.
Seemed like getting off the right would have been natural for you, just like getting off the left is for us.
I'll tell you what, when I'd reach, if I reached at one, I was already kind of over here, and it was just every horse I had kind of wanted to get on the rear good and kind of get their head, and it was easy to get on that rope. And then I always had my brother or somebody was rodeoing with me. They were rope right-handed. My horses stayed straight as a string. They wasn't no duck in them.
Did you use a jerk line much?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. A lot of times, back in the old days, they didn't use as many jerk line. Everybody got a jerk line now. But I think a lot of it, they were going under the rope, and that would help start those horses back, and sometimes they could even slap them in the chest if they needed to,
I didn't even know I was doing it.
Right.
But there's people, even later on, the older I got, he said, I can remember when you ducked under that rope and you grabbed your jerk line with your right hand and worked it down there till it come loose.
Right.
And I didn't even know I was doing that,
right.
But roping, just like when I first started out roping, I roped with Greg Wenham. He made the national finals in the 80s. We were the same age, and we roped kids all day. And he was tough. And me and Greg got to rodeo with a guy that he never did go to the PR, but he went to the IPRA rodeos and open rodeos. Joe Teague was his name. And he took me and Greg with him. And I seen him place at 18 rodeos in a row. And but just getting to rodeo with, he kind of took us under the wing and kind of got us started.
Now, were those IRA rodeos?
We went to a lot of open rodeos back then.
Okay.
We did go to some, but we went to mostly, at that time, we went to just open rodeos. And then there was an association called the SCA. Now I think it's called the CRRA. When it first started. In fact, Joe won it in about 69, I think it was, and I won it in '70. I was 20 years old and won it. That was the first time any association deal that I'd ever won. And then the first year I won IPRA was in '72.
Right. And then was it the next year when you got your card?
I think about '74. It was a couple of years after the first year, and I had
and then you had to quit going to the IRA rodeos.
Yes,
then?
sir. You couldn't go.
Right.
Yeah, you had to make one or the other, and I got in there, and everything was.
Had a good horse.
I had a great horse at that time, and I was I went to Calgary and did good there, and come back and won Napa, and was headed to Cheyenne for the first time I'd ever been there, and my horse died the night before that I was going to row.
You were sitting good in the world, weren't you?
Oh, yeah, I was like 6, I think, in the world. And couldn't even get my card till like about the 1st of April. You couldn't go to the winter rodeos. But I wasn't a good hand at riding a strange horse, and a lot of horses didn't like that left hand. Right. And but anyway, I went back home and thought I was buying the best horse in Oklahoma, and he was good at ropings. But he couldn't take the crowd, the noise of the band, the music and the crowd. He couldn't handle it, and then I was lucky enough, and it's so funny. I got to travel with so many great guys. John Rothwell and Robert Blanford was going, and John Rothwell had a little bay horse called Rabbit. And I'm going to tell you, he was one of my favorites I'd ever seen. And John and them, and all three of us was battling at the end of the year, was battling for the last 2 holes. And a guy named Lee Phillips from Canada. And he wound up winning the rookie deal. He beat me out for the rookie deal. And anyway, I got in the truck with him. He said, "You need to ride old Rabbit." Well, I got to go with them and ride that horse, and first rodeo I went to was Fort Madison, Iowa, and I broke the barrier on both calves to win both rounds and win the average, and that would have let me make the finals, but I missed making it. I wound up 17, but Robert and John both made it, but John never would take a penny mount money. I mean, that's the kind of guys I got to be around.
That's a pretty good old buddy there.
Oh, yes, he is. He was a great guy, and so was Robert. But rodeoing with, and I got to rodeo my early years with Terry Davidson, and he was a really great roper, and he won the average at the city one year, and he was 10 years older than me. And we went to a lot of rodeos.
Where all did you go in those IRA rodeos?
Oh, we went everywhere. A lot of people thought when we went to the IRA rodeos that's all we went to. That was only about a third of what we went to. We went to all the South Texas, all them rodeos down there that was real big, and then at that time, there was a lot of open rodeos in Oklahoma and around they were big. I mean, there was a guy named Norman Carpenter that put rodeos on that people probably didn't even.
I've been to them up there in Kansas,
and
they all carry bull whips, the whole family.
And he might have. Didn't matter if they had 10 ropers or if he had 60 or 70. He's got 4 monies, all they paid. And he would he had a lot of contestants that come to them. And but we went to a lot of them rodeos too. But
did you go? Did they have those Longhorn rodeos then?
Yes, sir. That was a big deal.
Loretta Lynn.
Yeah. And them. I mean that. As far as I'm concerned, that Bruce Lurkey that kind of run them for a long time. Oh, them was top notch. They were. I mean, if you were a spectator, them was great rodeos, but they were good. The contestants. I mean, they were good rodeos. Yeah, and actually, 86 when they opened it up, the right to work law where you could go. I wound up making top 15 in the IPRA, just pretty much going to the Longhorn Rodeos that winter and made both top 15.
Are you the only guy that's ever done that?
Some ropers later on had got invited.
Team ropers.
Yeah, team ropers.
Yeah.
But
as far as qualifying, though, you probably
I was the first guy in '86. I was in top 15 in both associations.
Ricky Huddleston may have done it in the bulldogging, Jimbo, in the late '90s. I'm not positive on that though.
Yeah, I'm not sure later on.
But there hadn't been very many people. But I think Ricky might have made both finals as bulldogging, IPRA, and the national finals in Vegas.
Who were some of those top IRA ropers that you had to go up against?
Oh man, Dexter Bailey. He was.
Did you ever
Don
rope
West
against?
was
Yeah,
great.
Don West.
Don West was a great roper. Jack Foreman.
Yeah.
Back then, little Terry. Terry was tough, and Linda Walters.
Yeah.
There was a bukus of them.
Did you rope against Bill Hensley, or was he a little before your time?
I'll tell you what, he was one of. I'm glad you brought his name up. He was probably. I put him in probably the top 10 of the best roper I ever seen in my life. He just didn't like to travel.
Yeah, that's what we've heard.
We've had so many great ropers tell us that.
Right.
Clay Tom Cooper and Pake McIntyre, everybody.
I seen him rope at Ada at Ken Lance Rodeo one year, IRA Rodeo, and he was the master of tying. And he roped a calf by one hind leg. He goes down there and strings the back leg and ties the front two legs, wins the rodeo with about 100 ropers entered.
Yeah.
He was amazing what he could do.
Everybody said he was a great tire. They
was.
said that was his forte in roping was.
And he
could teach it
He was the
well,
master
too.
of the short wrap.
Yeah.
And a lot of people couldn't tie like that. Danny Hamilton was a good. Don Smith could do it. Roy went to Billy Hensley and learned some of that.
Yeah.
And
Roy was the first guy I remember in the RCA that was really using that short wrap. That I noticed as a kid.
But he was tough. But Billy wanted to go home. He wanted to sleep in his own bed.
Yeah.
But
what about Don W? Talk about him a little bit, Don W. Smith.
Yeah, now he me and him were kind of right at the same age, and he'd rodeo.
Yeah.
And he could bulldog, and he team rope. We team roped some together at some of the back there, and he was kind of back there, and he rodeoed a lot at one time back there with Jack Wiseman.
Yeah.
Got in the rig with
I knew Jack very well.
And
he was the president of the IRA for a long time.
And I'll tell you,
BJ's his boy.
Jack, and I say, a lot of people say, well, who's two of your idols? And I said, well, two of them are bulldoggers. Well, actually, three bulldoggers. And that's Jack Wiseman, Roy Duvall, and Clarence LeBlanc. He rodeoed a bunch with me and Wayne, and we always had 5 or 6 people in our rig when we was going to them IRA rodeos. But and I got a good story about Roy Duvall, and it's probably one of my best memories. I was going in '86, and it was '88, and I had my family with me rodeoing. And we were at Salt Lake City and roping in the slack. And Roy come over there, and Ricky Huddleston, he had a whole crew in his rig.
And bulldogs just pile in, wouldn't they?
And so we were up at Cheyenne the next morning. Roy comes over there and says, well, how are you up at next few days? And I said, well, going to Cheyenne in the morning. I got to come back to Ogden tomorrow night and then go back to Cheyenne and then come back to Salt Lake City. Well, it's 500 across there. And I'm loading my horse and fixing to leave, and here comes Roy over there, and he said, I got plenty in my rig. You need some rest. And he goes, gets in my truck, and he starts driving. We stop and get gas, and I said, Roy, I can drive. And he said, no, I got it. Well, he drives plumb over there to Cheyenne. Well, we get done in the slack that morning. Same deal. I'm loading up. He said, you need a little more rest. And he drove plumb to Ogden, and when we got out there, he said, you ought to be good for a few days. And I never forgot that. You know,
He just got you caught up in your race.
Yes, sir. I mean, and I didn't have if I could get 2 hours sleep, my wife, she would drive. We had a little, my Haley, she was only about 2 years old, and I wouldn't ask her to drive too much, but that's the kind of guy that Roy was. Yeah. And, that
never heard anything good about Roy Duvall.
Oh, man, I tell you what, I thought the world and all him and Bill. Kind of, it's kind of same deal. I didn't know here till not too long ago that I don't think me and my brother's only 13 months apart. I think they're only like maybe 11 or 12 months apart. And I didn't know that till. But
I used to work with an old guy. His kids were 9 months and 30 minutes apart. He had about 4 of them.
Those are called Irish twins, ain't they, when they're born in the same year?
Yeah. But 86, when they passed that right to work law, did you make a conscious effort, said, I'm going to make the finals in the PRCA? Was that your mindset?
Yes, sir. That was my main goal. I wasn't going to drive by a rodeo that, if we wasn't up at something, and especially go to the Longhorn rodeos because they paid so good. I wanted to, go to them too, but I really wasn't thinking about making and I didn't wind up going after I made it. I drew up, I was going.
To the IRA?
I went to the finals. Yeah. I was going to go. They had them in January, and I was going to go. Well, I drew up at Denver, first and last, and it fell right into the and my goal again was to try to make make the national finals, right. And
and that was at Vegas in '86, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. They started in '85, and the 2 years I made it was '86 and '88.
What was that like the first time you went to Vegas?
Oh, I told people, I said, it was like the first calf I run there. It was like I don't think I'd ever been to a rodeo.
It's like your first calf ever.
Yeah. But after the first one, it didn't, if you don't get a little nervous, sure. you're not ready.
Yeah, you're not alive.
Yeah. But, making the national finals was the highlight, of my rodeo career. Right. And then in '88, I won second in average, placed in 3 rounds, and but I've enjoyed rodeoing. I got, people got to rodeo with so many guys like Joe Beaver, and Joe has rodeoed with, and y'all have probably heard of him, Stephen Perry from South Texas. If you wanted to go to the rodeos, get to the rodeos, you had to be in with Stephen Perry. He could get entered. We went to, and Joe, he tells a story. We went to about 3 years, and he went to them more than that. But I went to 240 rodeos in a year.
Wow.
With Stephen Perry. You had to be in the rig. Now, I've been to 160 to 180 rodeos a lot of years. But he was the master of getting entered. He had it down. He got up every morning and got these books out and sheets from last year or 2 years ago, and he'd be working on a month down the road on where we're going, He took a lot of guys. I mean, took Joe. He took Lanham Mango. I mean, he would mount them guys a lot. He always had really good horses, and he would mount them, top ropers and haul them. And
You do any flying much?
I did in '86, and then with Roy, the year he won, I rodeoed with him the year we were at the Clyde Burke Open, and I was going to the open rodeos and IRA rodeos, and Roy said, I want you to get in the truck with me. He said, I'm going to have 3 rigs on the road, and I got a plane. He said, you got a free roll. He said, I want you to go with me. He said, I'm going to try to win this.
Did he say, I want you to go with me, baby?
Yeah, there you go. And so I did. He said, you might make the finals in half a year. Well, we got so many rodeos. There was no limit on rodeos then. And we got to a bunch of them. But I'm going to tell you, the flying them little planes, we got on so many planes that we shouldn't have got on.
Right.
I mean.
Roy didn't care, did he?
No, he didn't. As long as you get it up in there, that's all he worried about. I mean,
I'm more worried about the landing.
We left. I think it's Pueblo, Colorado, going to Veneta, and took off and got up about 30, 40 foot off the ground, and both engines flooded out, and we just come down and started bouncing like that. And then we got on one that all got in there, all the instruments quit working, just so good, or there was daylight. He flew by the interstate where we were headed, and if that thing would ever, died, we were in trouble, But I said after that, and then with that David Bowen and all them boys that got killed up there. I said, Dave Smith, they were really good friends of mine, and I said, now if I can't drive it, I'm not gonna.
Don't need to
I'm
go.
not gonna go. And I wasn't a very good hand at mounting out. Like going with Roy. Roy had Charlie, had a horse called Major, and I got along great with them. And then I put my horse in one of the rigs, and that was good. But I just, being left-handed, a lot of horses don't like that left hand.
You can't just ride them around and swing your rope a little bit.
Yeah, I've had them.
They see that come by that eye, and they're wondering what's going on there.
I've roped kids before and act like they're going to stop, and then to take off, and I went out the back door, but
Did you ever go to Calgary?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I went there several times. I done good my rookie year there, and then one year when they started the coming back and for the big money, making it, they took the top 12 in the average that first year, and I wound up 13th, but that was the last year I even went to them, and
Is there any other rodeos to make when you're in Canada, or is it just that one deal?
We went to a few. I didn't go to very many up there. It was so hard getting across the line. If you come across at night, you had to call a vet in Canada to come out and check your horses, and it was kind of a mess. So, but Calgary is one of my favorite rodeos. I mean, I enjoyed that one.
I'd love to see that one sometime. You've never been
I'm
there,
going this year, Jimbo. Actually, the girls,
Well, I remember you
my 2 girls, they're in the Indian rodeos now. And the week before the big rodeo starts, they're having an all-Indian rodeo up there at Calgary, and I'm going to haul the girls up there. I said, how many chances do you get in life to rope at Calgary?
Oh, yeah.
Old Dad, 0. And I roped all my life, So we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to check it out.
That's awesome.
He was mentioning a while ago the old Ken Lance Arena down there in Ada. And I heard a story here a while back. They used to roll a wheelbarrow full of nickels out in the middle of the arena. And they'd get a person from the crowd to come out, and they could carry as many nickels out as they could carry. Well, it was always a very well-endowed girl, I guess, And the last one they did, she went out there in a tube top and filled her whole tube top up with nickels, and she stood up to walk out, and her whole top just fell right down in front of everybody. Anyway, that was a funny Ken Lance story.
He had some good rodeos.
I'm sure it was some good. You know, they had a pro rodeo down there not too long ago, and they had steer roping, and I was able to rope in that historic little arena they have there. I bet there were some good times to be had there through the years.
I wonder if that's the same arena where they had the rodeo back in the day.
You know, I don't know, Jimbo. Probably not.
Ada used to be a big rodeo way back in the 40s and 50s. You know, one of the biggest, probably the biggest one in Oklahoma.
Yeah, I don't.
But I don't know where it was
think
held.
it was there.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah. What was the biggest difference between the IRA and the PRCA at that time, as far as rodeos and calves and everything?
In '86, I would get calls. They'd want me to try to take a side with one or the other, and I'd say, "Hey, all you can say is I like all rodeo. There's nothing compares to the big rodeos that the PRCA had, and as far as talent back then, it was woofy both associations.
Right.
I'm talking about. I mean, there was a lot. Well, a lot of the guys that have done well in the PRCA, they started in the IRA.
A lot of people don't know it. Barry Burke was a world champion IRA in 1960 or something. You know,
and
Joe
Roy
Beaver
Duvall
went to quite a few of them, didn't he?
He went to in '84. He was with me. He went to a bunch. In fact, that was he was right up there. I can't remember if me and him was either first or second, and he was living with me, and I was the calf roping director, and somebody turned him in for going to roping at the Victoria, and he just roped local. And he wasn't even, at the time I think he wasn't even thinking about going to IRA rodeos. He's going to open rodeos. And, but anyway, they kept him from going to the finals. And I worked all day, and I said, hey, if you had a $300 fine, you couldn't go to the finals. And anybody had one, they always dropped it down to $299 and let them go. And I said, just drop it down like that, and he'll pay it. And I said, we need cowboys like this. And that guy that was running it said, no, we're going to make an example. And I said, well, I'm going to encourage him. He's going to go anyway, because he's going to go to the PRCA anyway. And he went, and then he's Rookie of the Year and World Champion the next year. But he,
what made him so good?
Oh, just him and Roy and like Cody O, they're so tough under pressure. I mean, they don't even know what that word is. You put pressure on them, makes them. And then Joe had such a loop. He could reach and get one right there. And he just, but they handled pressure. To me, that makes a difference. There's a lot of good ropers, but sometimes there's a group that's just, that word pressure, they can handle it better.
Honestly, if you just got to catch one to win something, that's really the worst one you got to run at the end of the day. I always did better if I went at them a little bit rather than safety up. But
that, and that's something that I was bad a lot of times to want to kind of back. If I had a good one, maybe you want to back off a little bit and stuff. And my brother, he roped for first every time, and he pushed me. He said, go after him, And I got a good story. When me and my brother went to them senior rodeos one year, and they were really good. They had the finals at Reno, Nevada.
Okay.
And I was fixing to rope, and I was winning the average in the 40 and over age group, and I was fixing to run my last one. And Tater Decker, one of the old cowboys.
I know. We were talking about Tater Decker yesterday. I'm not even kidding you.
Anyway, Tater I got to know him, and just
Did he wear a red shirt all the time? Is that what it was? In a black tie?
Black tie.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And anyway, I'm just fixing to ride in the box, and he come over and he slapped me on the leg, and he said, "Hey, this roping's pretty tough. There's only one hole left first." I mean, when I rode in the box, and I wound up winning it, but just being around them kind of guys to put, help you out.
You was talking about Don McLaughlin earlier when we were visiting, and you said you ran into him at a roping school somewhere. What was that story? He was teaching somebody how to rope.
Oh, yeah. Roy had a roping school down there at Durant, and he had like 65 kids, and he had 3 arenas. He had his dad helped, and Clay Tom helped. He had Barry Burke there. He had Ernie Taylor.
Wow.
And he had Don McLaughlin. And everybody had a group, and we were roping the dummy. And this kid had never swung a rope before in his life, and I was having trouble keeping him from getting it twisted up. And Don come over there and said, "Do you mind if I show him something?" I said, "No, we're having trouble." And he just walked up there, and he showed this boy. He said, "Just open your loop up and put a bucket out there. Just open your loop up and swing it one time. When you can catch it 10 times, you swing it twice. Then do it, and you can get anybody. That's the best way to get them to open that loop up. The farther they swing it, it wants to twist on them."
That's old school. That's the way I learned how to rope, a bucket. And my dad, he lives right there with us, and he taught my daughters how to rope. And they started off roping a bucket, and just like you said, just exactly like you said.
Yep.
I mean, that must have been handed down for generations on ropers on roping that. And you can see how your loop's landing in the dirt too, around the bucket to make sure your loop is landing nice and open.
It was the smartest thing. And then after that, I had several roping schools. I never had no problem getting somebody helping them where they could, swing a rope good,
What was that story you were telling me about Dexter Bailey when he went to one of Don's roping schools?
Yeah, Dexter went to Don's roping school, and he pulls up. When he just gets there, he gets out.
And Don's in his 40s.
Yeah, and this school lasts for a week, I think, at least a week or 10 days. And he gets out, and he says, "You got anybody here wants to match rope? I'll match rope anybody here." And he just kept on, and Don said, "Well, after the school every day, me and you'll rope." They roped every day, and Dexter never beat him. And Dexter would tell you, "I couldn't beat him.
That's that old age and treachery overcomes youth and enthusiasm.
Old tricky.
Yeah.
Did you rope any match ropings?
Do what?
Did you rope many match ropings?
Yes, sir.
Tom?
I roped a lot, and I got a good Dexter Bailey story on that too. We were at Chickasha. They used to have a roping at Chickasha, and they would rope a PRCA guy at a IRA guy or open guy that, pretty tough. And anyway, Dexter was always getting me into match roping.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was Terry Davison and Richard Stowers that roped. And they come over there and they asked me after the roping, "Well, you roped Kenneth Kelly." Well, at that time, Kenneth Kelly was a bad man. He made the national finals, had a great horse. And I said, "Yeah, I'll rope him." And I went over there and tell Dexter, I said, I'm on a match rope after the roping. And he said, "Well, who you roping?" He said, "Kenneth Kelly." And he said, "Well, you can't beat him." And just walked off. And we roped. He never said another word. My dad was there. And me and Dexter were together. And I told my dad, I said, Dexter, after the roping was over, he started drinking a little bit. And anyway, I told my dad, I said, "Help me with this match." I said, "When we get home, I'm never going with him again." Anyway, I roped, and I wound up roping really good and beat him. Here comes old Dexter climbing. He was in the stands. Here he comes over the fence, just going. He always carried quite a bit of money. He liked to gamble. Mm-hmm. And he just goes through the crowd, grabbing that, "Thank you, thank you." Then he comes by me and he sticks that money right in front of my face. He said, "I'll see you at the truck."
He'd bet on you.
Yeah. He. But I told people, I said, you don't want to try to rope when you're mad, but he knew.
Yeah, he got you fired up.
Oh, he got me fired up, But that was Dexter. He always had an angle.
Yeah.
Well, the apple don't fall far from the tree, as boy Ken called me the other day, trying to get a big match roping going over here at the Ben Johnson. And then he said, "Well, your boy can't beat this guy." And I was like, "Oh yeah, BS. Let's do this tomorrow at the house, Ken." But
Who else did you rope?
Well, I roped Junior Garrison one time, and he wound up beating me by 1 second there. And I roped me and Mike McLaughlin. We matched. They used to have a big rope in not Arnold Felts, but his brother had a big roping at Wilson, Oklahoma, way back there. And they had a calf roping, steer roping, but they were, back then, if they were going to they give me and Mike $2,500 to the winner. And we were rodeoing, and Mike said, "Man, you want to just split that before we rope?" And I'll tell you what, it was hot, and them kids were probably around 260. And I thought I was going to die that day because just,
How many did you rope?
10.
10.
And they scored him out there a little ways, and he wound up beating me by 1 second. But I roped Sylvester Mayfield at Alva one time, and I beat him. And, I've roped Arnold Felts there at Alva. They used to have a big rope in there. And but
Arnold seems like he'd be tough to beat in a match roping. He's solid.
Really solid. But shoot, I like a roper named Gerald Morse. They had a jackpot at Chickasha every Tuesday night, and after that was over, me and him would match for 100, rope 4 for 100, and match every week, just to And then I roped Kim Grip, a jillion match ropings a long time years back.
They said old Kim was a heck of a roper.
He was. If you miss one. I mean, if you made a mistake, he's gonna beat you. But
they said he was a little bit of a wild man too.
Yeah.
I never knew him.
Actually, the horse that he made the national finals on, I wound up the year after he made the finals. Some people told him that mare was getting too old, and I wound up buying her. I wound up riding her for probably 4 or 5 more years. And she was a great, actually that Stephen Perry I was talking about, he owned her at one time too. And she was a good horse. But the horses made a lot of difference. I was fortunate enough I rode 2 horses for 17 and a half years, one of them 8.5 and one 9 years. And what
do you think about horses today? I mean, it's so much different. Take more horse back then, or is it harder on the horses now in some ways?
I tell you what, they got so many more things to make them, to me, to last anymore. But some of that stuff, we never thought.
They don't seem like they last any longer than they used to. There used to be a bunch of old campaigners out there
now they inject their hocks. I've never injected a horse's hocks in my life.
Right. Well, the old timer didn't even have skin boots and stuff.
No.
None of that. Didn't wrap.
But now I'm really high on the chiropractor stuff on a horse now.
Really.
And I've had a couple that was out, and I mean, when the next day they were fine. We never had that a long time ago.
It does seem like it. They want to inject every single one of them their hocks. They may need it, I don't know. But
I've seen some older horses later on that it really worked, but now they'll do a really young one, and if you ever do it, you got to keep doing it, and
Arnold Felts, when we did a podcast with him, he said in his opinion they were asking a lot more out of the horses today. Just the way they rode them and pushed them. They're knocking the barrier out of the way every time, roping going to them, and those one-headers and things, and it was a lot harder on a horse,
I
to keep
think
them.
that could be right.
I think they used to use a horse a lot more outside before they even brought him into the roping arena, and now they're going straight to the roping arena. They're
Yeah.
not getting anything else. They're getting broke and going straight to roping instead of having a job, learning how to take care of themselves a little bit, out in the country, and then headed to the roping arena. But
Yeah.
that's just my opinion on it.
Yeah, they. I mean, like I had a little bay horse called Buster, and a lot of people rode him too. And you could run barrels on him. I at the IRA finals one year, my wife run barrels on him, and I team roped on him and roped kills. We had to resaddle him. We had to team rope first, and then had to throw the barrel saddle on him, and then we had to rope kills, and we did every event on him.
Yeah.
And he was a good one. One year at the IRA finals when we did that, all the news media that's all they wanted to talk about, that horse,
Yeah.
But but he was a good one. He's the horse I won Clem's bushy hat on.
What was that like?
Oh, it was my favorite.
That
roping.
paid pretty good too.
Yes,
didn't
sir. I won.
It was the richest roping at the time.
That's what
The
you
year
had to
I
build
won
it.
it, the year I won it, you had everybody run 3 the first day. There were 75 ropers, and then I think they took the top 35 the next day, and we roped 5 head. And and I won like 17-5 altogether that year. And but it was my favorite. And that's another thing. People say, "What are you more proud of in your rodeo?" And I said, I went to Clem's. I didn't go to the one they had at Claremore, but when he had it at Bushy Head out there, I went to every one of them. And I tell people, I said, I'm proud that on that score and them KOs like big as they were, I only had one no time. And that's what I'm more proud of, personal gain, just getting them all tied down. But I placed an average several times there.
He had a barrel race in there too, didn't he? Wasn't one of the barrels a pond?
Well,
Am I
that's when
mistaken?
he had this roping was in October, and he always had that Labor Day
Pasture rope.
roping.
Gotcha,
And he had
okay.
barrel, and he had team roping. I think he even had a calf roping out there in that
Yeah.
pasture. But this was when he had his
World's richest roping, they call it.
and he roped steers one day and roped calves. But them calves were huge. I mean that one year that I won it, I think one pin weighed about 270, 280, and the next set weighed about 300, and the other set weighed about 340.
Well, Clem, he was a purist. He liked it.
Oh,
he
yeah.
liked to see good ropers and good horses work. And
It was, and then the Clyde Burke roping, they had it for like 12 years, and at Comanche, and if anybody won it 3 times, you got the trophy, and every year they put this who won it, and going into the 12th year, me and Richard Stowers was the only body that had won it twice, and I wound up winning it 3 times and won that, and that was one of my favorite ropings too. I really enjoyed them. They roped calves right off the cow there, and it was a good rope, and everybody was there. I mean.
did you ever go down to the big roping in San Angelo?
Yes, sir. Yeah. The best I ever did is there. I won the third in one round. I never did win nothing in the average. And but it was a big roping. They had the roping the same time as the Prairie Circuit Finals.
Oh yeah, they used
And,
to. I remember that.
I had to fly back because I was making Pocatello the
National Circuit Finals.
Yeah, I was making it. Well, after a couple of years, I said, "Man, I'm just gonna go," because I was winning it one year. I said, "I'm not gonna go to St. Andrew." Well, that was a mistake, because if you ever didn't rope, they had a list.
Yeah, it's hard to get back into.
There wasn't no getting back into it, but yeah, San Angelo was a great rope, and I had a friend that lived there. He had a place. I used to live at Weeniewood, and he had a place there, and had a ranch there in San Angelo, and he played that Calcutta really big way back there.
Yeah, they had a big one there.
And one day we were down there roping, and he pulled up and he said, hey, here's a check, them guys that bought you in the Calcutta, and I won third in the round. And he said, they're good about giving the roper 10%. Give me a check for $980.
Wow.
Now that was 10%. And that was a third in one round. That's how big that Calcutta was.
I heard that guys used to bring, a lot of those ranchers, they'd put in together and they'd buy some guys, and they spend over $100,000 in the Calcutta.
He was in one of them groups, that would do that.
I told you, I think they put $4,100 in Joe's pocket one time after he won the steer open down there.
I was with Ralph Williams one time after he won it, and Ole Smith out of everyone ended up having him bought in the Calcutta, and he came and put some money in Ralph's pocket.
Yep.
Yeah, it was huge.
Did you like little scores or big scores, or did you care?
I kind of really didn't matter. I really liked the score like Clem's deal where they let them out, but I practiced. Of course, when I first started the IRA rodeos and the open rodeos, a lot of times there wasn't hardly any barrier up at all.
I was going to say, I think that was one of the biggest differences, maybe in the PRCA and the IRA, is score and maybe even cattle size at that time.
Yeah, I practiced trying to rope quick but I really kind of like the longer scores. I know the cattle come into play. With the score.
More of a drawing contest.
Yes, it does.
Your horse does too, pretty big time in
Yeah.
a longer score situation.
That,
You can draw, like at Cheyenne, that when it used to be 30 foot, you could draw a steer, just take you out of the open. It just didn't matter what she's riding. So in that sense, it's more of a drawing contest. But
It's always been a drawing contest up there, pretty much.
I was telling him earlier, first time I went to California, out there, I'd never been out there my rookie year, and I got to Turlock, California into April, and I went up there to pay my fees and come down. Some roper was standing there, and he said, what calf you got? I know him real well. And I said, I got calf number 10. He said, oh, man, you got the best in there. They won all kinds of money on him last year. I said, last year? And that was the biggest calf I ever run in my life. He weighed 400.
wow.
And I tried to flank him, and I never budged an ear on him. I mean, the untie guys, he was so wore out that he just sprattled out, and they had to take, when they took the rope off, they couldn't get him down, the untie guys. So they took the rope off, and he just stood there. One of them kicks him in the rear and sends him on his way. I thought, man, what am I doing out here?
Did you ever rope Salinas?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
What kind of score did they have then? It looks like it was long.
It was either 30. I think it was 30.
Yeah, it was at least 30.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
They usually rope pretty good sized calves.
Yeah. They wasn't. They were pretty good size.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. You come out from the other side of the box.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I roped at a couple of deals like that before but that really didn't. But it was a neat rodeo. And I never did. I won the Cow Palace, but that buckle they give away at Salinas, that's a pretty
Yeah, it is.
buckle.
Cow Palace. What was it like going to a rodeo in downtown San Francisco?
It was different. It was they really, the calf roping was like the last thing. They really didn't want to rope calves during the, they're kind of hard on the calf roper deal.
Used to be the very last rodeo of the year, last chance to get in the national finals. A lot of guys went out there to see what some guys did, and then a lot of guys just went because they absolutely had to.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just some history on the Cow Palace for some people.
It was a good pay. I mean, that year I won it, I placed several times, but actually I thought I won about 7,000, which in the 80s, that was quite a bit.
Sure.
At that rodeo, but But now they changed the dates on it, and it's not near as big as it used to be, I don't think.
I don't even know if they're having it anymore.
They may not be.
It used to be the one right before the finals.
Oh, yeah, it's the
last
went,
rodeo of the year.
Yeah, make the finals. That's quite a deal.
I feel like that's what made it such a famous rodeo
Right.
for so long.
Right.
Is it was last chance to get in the NFR,
Yeah.
and it was a good one too. I just can't imagine going to a rodeo in San Francisco.
Oh, it was.
They said Gary LeFew used to put on a big party called the Bucking Ball afterwards, or I guess where everybody get dressed up and go have a big time. Did you ever go to that?
No, I never did. My rookie year, I had to go out there, and I had to win. I had to place in a round real strong and place an average, and I drew up first and last. And that rodeo lasts for several days. Well, I didn't get nothing done on my first one, and that boy that was with me, Danny Hamilton, me and him was there, and we both didn't do nothing. I said, if you're ready to go home, I'm there too, because I've got a round ain't gonna, and I'm ready to get out of here. So we left, But that's what is neat now, I think, in there where they got that, back-to-back stuff where you rope.
It's handy.
Oh, it is, yeah. They were just kind of getting that really going when I, kind of there.
What do you think about that now and the way they limit entries at the big rodeos?
Well, I really don't like it, but I can see kind of, it probably was coming to that. But, if you want to go to a rodeo, but now they're trying to make them where, they at least they got qualifiers to try to.
Where they can have a chance to get into that.
Have a chance to get in.
It just seems like they're going to, all these extra contestants were a burden on the big rodeos, but just wait till everyone shows up to Coleman, Texas trying to get qualified for Cheyenne.
Yeah.
I mean, they're putting the burden off the big rodeo right on top of these smaller rodeos. They can't afford it at the big rodeos. What makes these big rodeos think that these small rodeos are going to be able to afford all these extra contestants they have to pay the stock charge on and stuff like that?
These young guys that got a lot of talent now, and they may have to go for a full year to get in rodeo hard at smaller rodeos to get into that top 40. And that's a pretty tough deal. And that's one thing I kind of hate to see that, they got to go for at least a year to get where you can go to them. And
What do you think of Riley Webb? You watch him much?
he is an outstanding kid and great kid, and I'm gonna tell you, he amazes me. He has got talent.
He never makes a mistake. I
He
watched
never
him the other
does.
night down there at Houston, misstring a leg, and that's about the only mistake I've ever seen him make time. He just completely misstring the leg, and that's something he never does,
He is
He's just like a machine.
yeah, and he's a great. He got a great his family, and then the Josie Connor, Jade, her dad. He's a great hand with horses and really a smart roper, and him being around him all the time but that kid wants it. I
Yeah.
mean,
What's going on with the new calf roping style, where they're running with both of their hands on their rope all the way to the calf's head? It looks like it's costing them time sometimes to
I
me.
will never understand that at all.
I was
I'll
always
tell
taught
what.
you hook with your wrist. You wasn't even ever supposed to grab the rope. You're supposed to run it down with your wrist, under your wrist.
When you get to a calf, when you get about 2 foot from you, you need to pick up that left hand and get that head up, especially a calf that's kind of wore out, so he ain't squatting and be reaching over his head.
Seem like they're taking extra steps
They are.
going around that
Lot
calf.
of-
It just looks like it from
Exactly.
watching them. But
They
I was just
are.
wondering what the advantage was to these guys.
I don't see nothing good about it at all. And a lot of kids swing away from them because, like you said, they got to take an extra step.
It's what it looks like.
And but you see that. I mean, and
I watch
some
an
of
old-
them guys that were doing it kind of quit it and started being more ready. It looks like to me, but I never understood that at all.
I watched an old match of Joe and Fred running down the rope at Maury's roping, the Mo Better roping down there the other day. They weren't doing it, but I don't think anyone going today could hang with those two guys running down the rope that day. I mean,
they were. That was another thing that I enjoyed. I won 5 of them match times. I beat Joe. I beat Jeff Chapman. I beat Ricky Canton. Ricky Canton is the toughest tire I've ever match tied.
Nothing but hustle out of that guy, it seems like. He never stops hustling.
I beat one year, there were so many, they kind of made it a bracket deal.
Little tournament deal?
Little tournament deal. Well, it got so big that finally he just had to pick 2 guys out because it got so big. But one year there were so many that they let 3 guys come back, and it was me and both the Hamilton boys.
Yep.
Bradley and Billy Lee. And
I watched that one actually.
Yeah.
Not too long ago. They had it replaying on the internet, and it was it was you and Bradley and Billy.
Yeah, Bryson Seacrest puts a lot of them on Facebook all the time.
I see those.
And but that was another great roping too. I mean, Maury did that was. I
wish he still had it down there.
Yeah, I do too.
I can't believe he don't actually, as much as he likes to put on rodeos and ropings, but
yeah. And he was another young guy that he rodeoed with me back there when he was young.
I knew his dad real well,
yeah,
Bub.
Bub.
That's pretty impressive, you winning them time contests with your offhand. What could you have done if you tied left-handed?
Yeah, I tell you what, I guess I don't know. When I was little, all I wanted to do, I'd go in there. I had an old grass string that was limber. When I got home, I mean, I couldn't tell you when I started, but when I was 9, 10, 11 along in there, I'd go in my bedroom and I'd rope my foot and tie it all night long. In fact, I had a roping one time. Somebody got to talking about that, and somebody said, "Well, I do that." Well, I matched for $100.
Yeah.
At a roping one time, and me and that guy matched roping her foot and tied it.
Yeah.
That kind of seemed silly, but we did it.
When did they start using the nylon strings?
You know, I quit. I was one of the last ones that quit using. I loved the grass strings, but they just didn't. The quality of the rope wasn't very good, and they get too limber too quick, but I can't remember. I'm gonna say I used them grass strings till probably the early '80s.
Yeah. It was hard for those guys that transitioned in. It was hard for them to make that switch in the steer roping too. All those old guys.
Grass is going to be so much tighter than a nylon all day long.
Exactly.
They're going to have a harder time kicking loose with a grass string.
Just the quality of the rope wasn't very good later on. Then they come up with the polygrass ropes but.
Did you start roping with just straight grass ropes when you first started? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I never
could make a grass rope feel good, no matter what I did to it.
I'll tell you, it's like taking care of little kids. Them ropes, I mean, you got.
I thought they felt good, but they were,
very temperamental.
Too hard, too
you
soft.
Had to watch,
I prefer good old poly.
I kind of liked a pretty stiff type rope, so I wasn't too worried about getting them limber enough, you know. But them ropes, they could be. I never did use a poly hauler, a little bit, but then they tried to come out with these left-handed twist ropes, and they just felt terrible.
You just coil up a right-handed, left-handed, and use it?
Yeah.
What was the difference in a left-handed rope?
Well, they twisted it the opposite direction.
Twisted opposite. Okay.
It's twisted the other way.
Yeah.
Even like the team rope, they twist. They got ropes left-handed.
Yeah, right.
They just don't. But now that I team rope, being my age, I can tie off. So I just use. I don't carry a coil in my hand, and I use a right-handed rope. I don't use the left-handed twist.
Pake McIntyre switched from left-handed to right-handed, and he didn't use a coil, and when he roped right-handed either.
Oh yeah.
He said it was just a lot for him to keep up with.
Yeah.
He could rope right-handed, but it's just better off without a coil in there.
Yeah, I entered just a handful of steer ropings when Pake was roping left-handed.
Yeah.
And got to ride his horses. They were really good. The only problem, if them horses hadn't been so easy to rope on, he was riding one of his daddy's saddles at one time. I thought I was going to slide plumb off that thing. I mean, but yeah, Pake, some of them they wasn't very good setups a lot of times for a left-hander.
No. No, I can't imagine most time that there's not very much room going that direction for the steer open event.
Did you ever see a guy, Cody, going down? I've seen it at the Ben Johnson. I think it was, I forget who it was, but he was going down the left fence and just couldn't get by his steer, and he flipped the rope up and went the other way.
I saw James Allen do it at Cheyenne one time when I was younger. One of the first times I roped
I don't
there.
believe I could have made that work.
James did it and tied the steer down.
Yeah.
Swear, I saw him do it right there at Cheyenne.
That'd be too much moving part. I'd forget which one I was supposed to have my bridle in and which one I was supposed to have my hand.
That steer just wouldn't get off the left fence, so James, he just flipped the rope over his left hand, he flipped it over his horse's head, and he went right and tied the son of a gun down.
I saw it one time at the Ben Johnson.
You know, it's I'm 75 now, and I hadn't roped a calf in about 10, 11 years, but like now with these World Series team roping, I rodeoed all my life and never cut the rope for the money that's out there. But that heeling is the most humbling thing I've ever tried to do in my life.
I feel like all roping's the most, but healing's right there. I mean, about time you think you got it figured out, reality sets in real hard on that healing.
It's been fun to, like me and my brother, we go 2 to 4 times a week to team ropings. Like this weekend, we're going to Hamilton, Texas to a World Series deal.
That's a great little arena they got down there,
it's
too.
Nice, and we can rope in the 8.5 and then 7.5, and that they'll have close to probably 500 teams in that 8.5 down there this weekend. It's unreal, but I miss the calf roping, but there comes a time when
it's time to. That's kind of a young man's sport, isn't it?
It is. And then I tell you what, if I can't work at it, I just, really didn't want to do it anymore.
Did you know John Ray Powell?
Oh, yeah. He's my
How old was he that last calf he tied it? Was it
10-7 he tied him.
Was he, how old was he? In his 80s or was he 90? I can't remember, but it was a lot.
He was either 88 or right at 90.
Yeah.
And I was there.
I remember I saw him at a steer roping one day. He said, I got a 2-year-old colt at the house. I fixed to quit roping steers, and he was 80 at the time. And I'm going to go back to calf roping on this 2-year-old colt I got at the house. And then I saw a Facebook run where he was about 90 years old tying a calf down there somewhere in Abilene or somewhere.
Yep. Yeah. He would get up. They said he had I think they a lot of sheep and goats down there, but he'd have one of them people that work for him. They said every day he keeps some little light calves, jerseys probably.
Yeah. And
he'd rope 4 calves every day. And but I always told him, I said, man, you're my idol. I mean,
and he roped good too on top of it,
He never complained about, well, I'm getting, if he was talking to you, it's about, well, what can I do better?
Yeah. He was a great guy.
Yeah.
Well, you had a really long career yourself. I mean, I think your first world championship and your last one were like 18 years apart.
72 to 91.
Yeah, that's a heck of a long run.
And,
calf roping especially.
And
especially where he was roping and the guys he was roping against,
right.
All the young bucks coming up.
I kept going for several years there. Made the IRA finals. But
what would you do different if you could do it all over again?
I don't think there's. I just enjoyed everything that I've got to do. I don't think that. I was fortunate enough to get to ride some good horses, and I had to work at the roping. I mean, I worked at it, And I'll tell you what, it just met a lot of great. It was a privilege for me to get to be around all the great ropers and get to
guys you travel with.
Oh yeah,
Clay Tom, Roy.
And Roy. You know, they're just like brothers to me. And then even like Ray Raven in '86 was his first year. First year to make the finals.
Yeah.
We rodeoed together, and he's probably the fastest from leaving the stirrup to laying a calf down on their side that there was. He didn't really like to travel that much, but he could rope.
Wasn't he from east of the Mississippi?
He lived in Florida.
Is he one of the only guys to win a PRCA calf roping world championship from that direction? I mean, hadn't been very many.
Herbert.
Yeah, Herbert.
Herbert and him. But Rave was tough. And but, you know, I guess I go on to think, if I thought about more, I got a lot of the young ones, you know, got in my truck. Bill Parker from Montana come and lived with me. He made the finals in the calf roping and the team roping different times in Oklahoma City. And he lived with us he lived with me for about 3 years. And, you know, we got to, you know, when you rodeo with guys that rope well, rope good, and they make you rope better, I think. Getting to be around, you know, guys that are tough. And
one of the toughest guys I can think of running down the rope and tying, Jerome Schneeberger. Man, that guy could.
He is bad.
He was bigger than a lot of calf ropers, you know, bigger and longer, but once he got his hands on one, that's about all she wrote for that guy.
I seen him at, he made them, Longhorn Rodeo had a finals on just their rodeos at Nashville one year, and the calves they had, they were big old wore out things, probably weighed 280, and they had been roped to death. And Jerome ropes one, he jerks one down, and he's getting down there and he's getting him up, and he gets kind of almost in a squat position trying to get him up, and this calf just jumps up. And at a squat position, he reaches over and gets that calf flank and flanks him down like he weighed 100 pounds. I mean, he was strong. I mean, it was the dangest thing you ever seen. Yeah, he was tough now.
I always liked watching him rope for some reason. I just thought, man, this guy just a nasty roper.
There's been so many guys back there that, I'll tell you what, in the 80s, there was you take Fred and Roy and you go to a rope, and there was about 25 guys there that, I mean, they could just tie one fast as anybody, you know. But
that brings me to your Mount Rushmore calf ropers. Who would you put on it? Need 4 names.
Oh, Roy Cooper would be at the top, and I'd put Joe Beaver, Cody O, and probably Trevor.
Okay. That's a lot of gold buckles, Cody.
That's one of the best Mount Rushmores I've heard so far, Jimbo.
Trevor is probably the most outstanding roper I ever seen with horses. You know, he roped good, but his horses worked. And he got time out of them, you know, I mean. But that's, you know, and Cody and Joe and Roy, it's unbelievable to me how, you know, you put a little pressure, and they had to be 8-2 to win the rodeo or the average, and they'd be 8-1 or 8 flat, you know, I mean.
Or Cody might break a world record.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if he has to win a go-round, hey, he's just going to go ahead and tie 1 and 6 something.
He's
one of the best ropers I've ever seen. I've seen him rope steers. He trips steers just as good as he ropes calves. And just the most unbelievable calf roper. I mean,
he goes
the complete
to a few
package.
of them World Series team roping every once in a while, and you'll see his name. He won, you know, heeling or, you know, roping at them. He'll place, you know, win money. But
I miss seeing guys like that at the finals.
Well,
Honestly.
we're seeing them now. We're don't
seeing
realize
them.
in 30 years from now, they say, boy, I miss that Rodeo boy.
Yeah. I don't feel like the guys now have the personalities as big they're not larger than life like Cody was and Fred and Joe Beaver. And I just don't feel like, I mean, they're great ropers. I don't have anything against them. I mean, I love watching them rope.
That deal where
But I just feel like their personalities just aren't there, you know.
That deal, when that one night that they broke all them records.
Jeff Chapman,
That's
remember
great.
when he came out on top? Holy
That's the
moly.
greatest performance of calf roping I think it'll ever be.
I think calf roping changed from that point on
it did.
at the NFR.
Exactly.
It became
did.
one of the
Yeah.
fan favorite events because
It did.
everybody's ready to see that.
I mean, I know people that go to the concession stand now after that deal, they wasn't missing that calf roping
Right.
at all, you know.
Yeah, it's coming on. We didn't even touch on what he thought about breakaway roping yet, Jimbo.
Oh, no?
What do you think about this breakaway?
Oh,
the
I think
resurgence of breakaway roping.
Oh, I think it's the greatest thing. My daughter, she roped through high school and college, and after that for a while and everything, and it was good then, but it is unbelievable now. But these girls, they ride good horses, but they're so good with a horse in the box, scoring. And there's a ton of them girls out there that's got talent now, and I'm glad to see it. I think it's a fast event. I just wish they'd have it at the national finals.
That's crazy. They don't.
You know.
Jimbo, what was that stat you gave us on breakaway roping 2 years ago? How many sanctioned rodeos compared to?
Well, I can't remember.
I think you said 57 rodeos or 67 rodeos 2 years ago, and over 500 sanctioned
I know
rodeos
it's
last year.
595 last year.
It's humble. I mean, I'm glad to see it.
Well, you can see what places like Houston think of it because they start off the rodeo with calf roping before anybody gets to the stands because they have the big concert after every rodeo, and a lot of the fans don't get there until halfway or three-quarters through the rodeo. So they're starting with the calf roping, and you can't tell me they're not just trying to get the calf roping over with before the crowd gets there and move on through the rodeo. But guess what they end it with? Breakaway roping, right before the bull riding, when everybody's there watching.
Yeah.
So that tells me it's a pretty darn exciting event. And if the biggest rodeo in the world's showcasing it as one of their last events before the concert, you know, I just think.
I think they say the best for last, the mutton busting.
You're right. I do like a good mutton
I
busting.
do too. Me and Leslie sit there and laugh at that every night. I always love watching it.
At the Ben Johnson days, you guys have to come watch. We got a deal sort of like the mutton busting, but it's junior ranch bronc riding. So they bring some bronc ponies over there, and we have all the local up and coming bronc riders come, and
Boy,
it sure is good watching.
Broncs are ranked too.
They are. They are.
I don't think Casey Tibbs could have rode some of these.
You know, back when we were like 10, 11, 12, they used to have that miniature rodeo association when we were little, and they bucked them Shetlands, and them things would buck. My brother, he entered every event. I never did get that. I mean, I just roped, but they'd buck.
Whew. You know, he's sitting there talking about all the great guys that he grew up and got to know. Now he's one of them, Jimbo.
I know. No, he's a legend.
He's just an absolute legend in the business, and this has been a great podcast. What else you got for him today, Jimbo?
We've about covered it all. I'm just really happy and appreciate him coming up and visiting with. We've been wanting to get him for a long time, and
so many of the top Cowboys legendary guys we've talked to, they mentioned Tom's name as one of the best calf ropers they've ever watched.
Absolutely.
Well, it's just been roping's all I ever wanted to do, and I'm pretty satisfied with, getting to rope with, I travel with so many different guys and still good friends with all of them, and look back and enjoyed every minute of it. But
Rodeo been good to you, as they say.
Yes, sir.
Can't put a price on a good time.
Nope.
No. And I guess probably I tell people too, they'll ask me about rodeoing and stuff, and I said, well, it's rodeoing's all I ever wanted to do, but I said the most proudest thing I am is I got 3 kids, and I've never had no trouble. They're great. They got good jobs. They're all married, and they're all about their families. And I said, I just feel like I'm a world champion that I got kids that have grown up like that. And I give their moms credit, more credit than me. But
my kid's mom finally made me grow up. So,
Right. Have you grown up?
well, I'm growing out, Jimbo.
Okay.
I'm growing out,
Well, I
packing
noticed
some weight
that.
on. Hey, Tom, before you go, I ask everybody this: when you're roping calves, where do you aim? Where do you aim for? Because we got a lot of young ropers listening to us, and they get some tips from these podcasts from some of these veteran guys like you. So when you're roping calves, where do you aim for when you're roping a calf around the neck?
Well, the main thing I've always thought of, I'm looking at the whole head, but to make sure that getting that dip in that loop is a big deal to me. That, but I look at the whole head. I've heard people say they look at the ear. Or I just look at the whole head and just try to have a lot of follow through with the right kind of dip. People like Joe and Cody O and even like Roy, that first swing, they're ready to rope.
Yeah.
If you got that rope, if you got your first swing down and got that dip in it, you're ready from there on, no matter how far down. A lot of people want to start it back here. Well, it takes 2 or 3 swings before they ever get it back where they need it. And I think that's, helps more than anything.
Dip in your rope. I haven't heard that. It's old school.
Keep the dip in your
Everybody
rope.
talks about
Keep a
tips
nice,
now
good
and all
open
this
loop.
stuff now, but
Aim for the whole head. That's how Tom does it.
I look for I just look at that head.
yep.
Well, I appreciate that little tip for everybody. Hope everyone's paying attention there. He's got a tip from a legend pro.
Legend.
So, well, Tom, we sure appreciate you coming on today.
Well, thank y'all.
It's our pleasure.
I've enjoyed coming up here looking at the museum too.
Thanks for putting up with my Ken Lance story where the girl lost her top, filling up with nickels. Hey, everyone, we did just get this in, Tall in the Saddle, the new Ben Johnson book. It's available right here at benjohnsoncowboymuseum.com or right here in the museum. It's a great book. It's brand new. We're the first place in the nation to have it. Get your book ordered.
Anna says it's a good one, too. She's
Anna
been
said it's a
reading
good one. I know there's a few good pictures in the back. I got that far in it, Jimbo.
Oh, yeah.
I got that far in it.
That's the way I read books. Look at the pictures.
I like reading the little line under the picture, captions.
Yeah, I can read
I'm a
that.
caption guy.
Right.
I feel like I can get the gist of the whole book just from reading a caption or two.
Shoot, yeah.
Just kidding.
And the Ben Johnson also gave pictures, and it's listed that the Ben Johnson Cowboy Museum gave her a couple of pictures.
Well, thanks, Anna. That's Anna, the manager of the museum here. If you ever come in, you'll probably run into her. She don't know. She'll just dazzle you with some BS. So, everyone, get over here, see the museum. Get over there, buy some turquoise jewelry. That's what funds the museum.
Absolutely.
And me and Jimbo, we'll see you next week.
Later.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.